that time of the week. It's the Alabama Auburn Show. What up, buddy?
Fully loaded, y'all.
Mm. I tried to get that phone number on the bottom of the background. My bad. I'll fix it next week.
Yeah, it looks good, man. Look good. I saw the commercial.
I'm getting ready.
Happy Alabama Auburn Thursday, my friend.
It is, man. It's been a Hey, here's one thing about Alabama. We ain't lost anybody to the portal but a kicker right now. So
You don't think kickers are important?
they are important. They win ball games.
Notre Dame also lost a kicker.
That you did, and I'm hoping he comes to Alabama. That could be.
You don't want him.
Forget him. Anyway, so we still got what, 15 more days? How many days is it? 14 more days?
Yes, it's a 2-week process. Actually, you entered your name on the 16th. So next Thursday's show should be a lot of portal activity. And somebody just texted me, why does anybody want somebody from Auburn?
Well, let me tell you who wants somebody from Auburn. The University of Alabama basketball team. Aiden Holloway, the point guard from Auburn, is coming to visit University of Alabama. So that could be a slap to the face to the Auburn Nation.
Well, it could be, or if you just watch the film of their last game in the tournament, they may even Coach Pearl may even buy the bus ticket.
He said, "Go on, you can go, buddy. It's okay."
Good morning, everybody. Got Alabama Auburn questions? This is gonna be a short show today.
Yeah.
What up, Scott Cole?
Well, I'll tell you this. Speaking of the portal, Alabama has had a lot of action when it comes to basketball in the portal. Nick Pringle just entered the portal yesterday, and then you got Sam Walter, Chris Parker, Raylan Griffin, Devin Cosby. They all hit the portal. That the big
Sam
one.
Walton.
Yeah.
Walmart hit the portal. Are they trying to go to Target? What's going on?
Walter, but Pringle, man. I mean, he's a big contributor, but I understand, right? I mean, I understand he wants to go and be the big man on campus somewhere, and that he's great, put up great minutes for us. He's great on the board. When he stayed under the board was great. But one thing that is firing me up about Alabama basketball is from the Rutgers Nation. Alabama has a big visit from Clifford. I think Amari, is that how you say it? Omari?
Who can play, man? He can play.
Big fella. He's 6'11", 240 pounds. This guy, and he's a rebounding machine. But not only that, this guy shoots 51% from the floor. Alabama needs a big man that can get down in the paint and just battle. And so I'm fired up about that visit right there. What do you think about that?
My thought process when it comes to just recruiting in general, as you know, I love recruiting. I watch the ins and the outs, and what I've learned over the years, Jeff, and if you ask my wife, I probably hadn't learned a whole lot, but that's fair. Don't pay attention to the tweets, the Facebook posts, all the social media stuff. If you really want to get a sense of where these kids are going, follow the visits.
Oh yeah,
right. Very easy to track the visits. The visits would tell you who's real contenders and who's not. Yeah. Very few times. There has been a couple kids recruited wise that committed to a school they'd never stepped foot on before. Very rarely. Most of the time, follow the visits.
The only thing really other than Alabama basketball that I've got to talk about is nothing but Alabama basketball. Mark Sears became eligible. Mr. Mark Sears, the NBA draft. I don't know what his stock is. I mean, you got a lot of projections saying that he's going to go late first round. So, I mean, I think he's testing the waters to see where his stock is. I mean, the guy averaged 21 to 24 points a game. Mr. SEC, he's a great basketball player, and he could be in the talks for the top 5 or 6 of the MVP if that was the case. But I don't know how many teams right now are needing somebody of his caliber as a point guard in the NBA because I'm not a big NBA fan anymore. I used to be, but I am a Mark Sears fan. So I think he comes back. I think
I'm with you. I think one more year. I
yeah.
think one more year to show the consistency. I think he's a top 10 pick, probably, in
I
my
agree.
opinion.
Yeah, I agree. What's going on in the Auburn Nation, bro?
Well, what I want to talk about is NFL draft, right? So I thought I'd be a little Alabama Auburn specific right now about the NFL draft, which is coming up next Thursday, a week from today. Of course, y'all know don't be bothering me during the NFL draft because I
Yeah,
ain't gonna respond to you.
we're gonna call you and text you and knock on your door.
You can, but you ain't coming in, and my phone's gonna be off. Now what?
And you'll be in
You
your
probably got a key though. You probably got a key,
yeah.
correct? So what I thought I would do is just go over some of the thoughts of who's going to be drafted. Again, it could always change. This is just a prognostication of rankings and those kind of things. I would draft the chip man, but that's just me. What do I know? But I'm drafting the chip man first. Um, let's start, Jeff, with how about your Alabama Crimson Tide?
Okay.
Because it's going to take longer.
That's why.
Well, that's fair, right? It's fair.
Ooh,
And I think you want to. I think also a good indicator. You want to see how good a season you had, how well you're doing as a program. Look to the NFL draft. That will tell you. If you're not getting a lot of kids recruited or drafted, probably didn't have a great season.
right.
Um, as far as the amount of kids, I think Alabama is going to get. I think they have. Uh, 8, maybe 9 kids drafted. It's what I'm thinking. And we'll go through some of these kids. And what I've noticed by looking at this is um, 3 of the top 4 kids that I think are going to be drafted from the University of Alabama. And Brian Stanfield, when he jumps on, he can comment on this. I think they're 5 stars. They were 5-star coming out of high school to college. I think the number one recruit to be drafted out of Alabama this year, I personally think is Dallas Turner. Um, the linebacker we've talked about at nauseum. The kid is a beast. He was a 5-star kid. No question about that. I think he is a top defender taken off the board. Kind of back and forth between who I think is going to go second and third. I actually think Terrion Arnold is going to come off the board second. I know folks always calling me during the show, Joe.
So great to hear an
Uh,
Auburn guy with a Notre Dame ringtone.
or maybe it's just a Notre Dame guy doing an Auburn show. I think Terrion Arnold, the cornerback, will be the second player coming off. He was, in fact, a 4-star. And he's as good as they've ever played the position. Terrion Arnold, the cornerback, is incredible. The third one to come off, I think, is going to be C.J. Latham. He was also a big 5-star. The kid's massive. He is right tackle. And when we talk about draft, and I don't want to get too much into it, but very specific, a left tackle and a right tackle are different, right? And so be very aware that a team needs a right tackle. They're going to draft a right tackle. In very few instances, you just draft a left tackle, move him to right. Because everything's backwards of what he's been doing the last 3-4 years. So C.J. Latham is the probably best or top 2 or 3 right tackles that's going to be drafted this year. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry's next. He was, in fact, a 4-star. He showed me a lot of toughness at the combine. He has broke vertebrae fracture in his back.
Right.
Still participating in a lot of stuff, a lot of toughness. I think all those kids go in the first round. I think a marginal player that could sneak in the first round, depending on team need, Chris Braswell. He is going to be a tremendous get-off guy. He's 6'3". You talked about him a couple of times. Linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end, could move down and be a sack guy for sure. He is incredible. You got Jermaine Burton, who I'm a big fan of. He's going to be a day 2 pick, wide receiver. People forget when we talk about Jermaine Burton, he's a 4'4", 40 guy, 6 foot, that he transferred from IMG Academy. So he understands big level ball in high school before he got to Alabama.
Mhm.
And Bigway, the defensive lineman from Alabama, is another top 150 player. I think is going to go, and I think the last one's going to get drafted is a very underrated 4-star. The running back Jeff, who Jace McCullen, had great early success. Didn't do his best work late, but I also think he gets drafted. I think he's a top 200 pick. Um, those kids are incredible. And just look at last year's draft. You had a ton of kids drafted.
Yeah.
I think you had more top 200 kids last year from DeMarco Helams. You had Latu, the tight end, Cameron Latu, I think it was. DJ Dale, just to name a few. And the list goes on, starting with Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Brian Branch, Jamar Gibbs, who was a tremendous pickup for Detroit, Jordan Battle, Eli Ricks, and it goes on. Henry 202020. That was a great pickup from Tennessee. So I think draft day Thursday is going to be a lot of fun for you Alabama fans.
Good, good, good. What about your Auburn guys? Who's your top three?
Well, they only have 4.
Hey,
Sorry.
I was just reading real quick on Auburn, and all I was looking at was three. So I missed one. All right, go ahead.
You missed one. So, well, I think they have. I don't think they have anybody that gets drafted Thursday. I don't think they have any first round guys. But what I found intriguing that every one of the kids I think are going to get drafted. I think they got 4 top 200 kids. All 4 of them were from the defensive side of the ball.
Mm.
3 cornerbacks, right? 3 cornerbacks. DJ James, everyone knows about. That's probably the top name that you think of. What else happened to my computer? Went crazy. Jalen Simpson, also, and these guys are all around the same size, man. They're all 6 foot, 190 to 175. As far as the 3 cornerbacks. So 3 cornerbacks, Nehemiah Pritchett round out those 3 cornerbacks, which is a sought after position in NFL, certainly. And Justin Rogers, a defensive lineman, he's 6'2", 330. Those 4 kids will get drafted, in my opinion, and they're all top 200 kids. And if you look back to last year, they had 4 kids that were top 200 in my opinion. Derek Hall, Tank Bigsby, everybody knows him. Wooden and Leto, the linebacker, EU, I think his name was. So I think as Coach Freeze keeps the recruiting going, Derek Nix gets the recruiting going.
Yes,
certainly going to see more offensive players taken in the draft,
right?
From Auburn, but and as the year goes on, Jeff, we'll talk about what this means to that defense, and you're having to replace your top 3 cornerbacks. That's tough. That's very, very tough.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of a slow Alabama Auburn week, but like you said, next Thursday we're going to have a lot to talk about. So a lot of Alabama drafts, hopefully we've got some Auburn guys getting out of there, like you said, the cornerbacks. Listen, I got to say something to the Alabama folks. If you're looking for something to do, Alabama needs some support. They're 6-9 in baseball. The comp baseball, they're under 400. They need some help, and here's the reason why. So today they start a 3-game series with the number 1 Texas A&M Aggies, and you've got to get out there and cheer these guys on. They got to get some momentum. If they can come in and sweep that, or the Aggies come in and they can sweep the Aggies, don't know how that works, but if they can, maybe that can get Alabama turned around a little bit. But man, they look good overall as far as 29 and 11, I think is what it is. But 6-9 in the conference, man, they're not looking good at all. So get out there and go support them. They play tonight, Thursday night at 6 p.m. They play Friday at 6 p.m. and then Saturday they got a 2 p.m. game. So get out there and support the Crimson Tide. It's a fun atmosphere too. It's a good little place to go watch baseball and fun for your kids. There's all kinds of things to do for your kids out there, and hot dogs and nachos are cheap as a mug at the stadium. So get out there and have some fun. All right.
Auburn had a big win over Georgia Tech, 12-8, and on the 23rd, they got a big game against Alabama A&M. It's a promotion night, so they're doing something for the kids there. So
Good.
April 23rd be a good chance. Take the little ones out. Somebody take Blake down there. He loves it. And they're playing pretty good ball. So what's the issue with? Has there been some injuries or just having a down season
I think
for Alabama?
there's some injury. There's been some injuries, but I think pitching is something. There's not a lot of depth there. Their bullpen seeming the mid part of the bullpen when they come in, they give up the big runs. If you look at the scores there, let me get back to it. Sorry, I was looking at A&M's record and what they've got going on. Let's see. Nope, sorry. Yes, I'm right. Well, Jerry, prove me up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 24-13 overall is where they're at. So they're looking, you're getting 15-0 by Marshall, 11-8. You're getting 6-1, 12-0, 14-2, 13-3, 11. They beat UAB 12. Then when they win, they hang 12 runs, they all fairly well. And then they're beating Lipscomb and those kind of guys, 10, 20 runs right there. And then you go in, Southern Miss comes in and beats you. They hang up 9. Tennessee hangs up 10. Georgia comes in and beats you by 9. Beats you 9. Throws 9 runs out there. They throw 10 runs on you. So there's some pitching issues there somewhere for them to be able to have these type of scores. It's just like with high school baseball. When you see high scores, there's a pitching issue somewhere. Now you may have some terrible fielding, but you're at SEC baseball. You've got guys that can field the ball. I mean, there may be a hole somewhere. There may be a Rafael Ramirez playing somewhere that's going to make you 1 or 2 errors per game, but it's not costing you those types of runs. They've got to figure something out on the pitching side. I think they're still hitting the ball. I mean, obviously, you look at the amount of runs that they're hanging up, but got to get some pitching, man. Pitching wins baseball games, son.
No, that's at every level, right?
Yeah.
Except coach pitch.
I have seen some dads play a little dirty out there.
Trying to give him the changeup. Auburn's not having a good season either. I don't know if you pay attention to them. They've won 2 games in the SEC. They're 2-13 in the SEC, and they're about to get a little 3-game action with Mississippi State.
Mississippi State? Are they going to Mississippi?
No. I think it is in Mississippi actually. Yeah, it's at State. And if Jameson wasn't playing, in the state tournament here, it's a 4-game set starting tomorrow in Starkville.
They play a doubleheader on Saturday or Sunday.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. It's a 3-game set, no doubleheader.
Oh, okay.
19, 20, and 21st, all in Starkville. 6 o'clock tomorrow. Then it's going to be 5 o'clock on the 20th and a 1 p.m. start Central Time on Sunday.
It's not a bad little trip over to Starkville. We'll go out there and watch it.
No.
Yeah. But
you can go watch Alabama today, then go over to Starkville.
Yeah. But you and I ain't going to do neither one of those things. Well, we're fixing.
We are headed to Mississippi, though.
On to Mississippi, son, and we're not going to gamble. We're going to do work. Unless those Salvation Army guys want to throw some wagers out there. I mean,
I don't think the Wesleyans do that.
I don't think they do either. All right, my man. Fully loaded roll-off services. Give them a call for any of your roll-off needs. They can bring a dumpster or a roll back to your house, and you can fill that mug
Yes,
up.
they can.
And never.
But lastly, for me, hey, you guys be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. We need your help.